going to give you Sharon.
Hi, my name is Sharon, and you have to bear with me. I'm not a speaker, but I am an addict, a recovering addict.
Go ahead, girl.
And I come to share my strength of staying clean by the grace of God. When I called Tracy, when Tracy first started her podcast, she called me. Like she said, I was one of the first ones that she called. Sis, I need you. Okay, what do you need me for? I'm starting a podcast, and she explained everything to me. I said, okay, I'll call you. I'll call you and let you know. So I called her just last week to let her know that I was coming, and the reason why I hadn't came. I didn't want her to think I wasn't proud of her, that I didn't want to be with her, and that I am not her, because I am her.
That's right.
Okay, and I am the other people that's suffering, that's recovering. I am them too.
That's right.
But I'm not going to say that my situation is different, but I felt like, I don't want to discourage the addicts that's still suffering out there or anything with my recovery. Because the first thing I heard when I got clean was, you must make meetings and we'll keep you clean. That didn't happen with me. And by the grace of God, August the 27th, I'll have 40 years clean.
Oh, give up them hearts. Woo!
And it wasn't by making a meeting. It was by the grace of God, the support of my family, and especially the support of my children. And the man that shared my life. I have to say that. But God comes first.
That's right.
And that was the reason. And she told me, she said, Sharon, that's more the reason why you should come, to let people know that. Now, I'm not going to go through the 12 steps of Narcotic Anonymous with you because I don't know them, because I don't practice it. This is speaking my truth, okay?
That's
and
right.
She told me to speak my truth.
That's right.
I don't know them, but I do know the first step. If I don't pick up, I won't use.
That's right.
I know the second step, people, places, and things. And I practice them. They say every day, a day is too long for me. I practice them every second of my life.
Go ahead.
Every second of my life, I practice them 2 steps. And that, with God, keeps me clean.
Go ahead.
It keeps me clean. Do I hear people say that they don't think about it. Do I? Yes, I do. But I fight. I fight, and you can too. You can fight. As well as we fought to stay out there, we can fight to stay clean, because the grass is much greener on the other side. The grass is very green on the other side. Very, very green, and it can be for you. And it don't happen overnight. I built what I have, and I feel like at this point in my life, I got it all. I feel like I have it all.
And God, I know you do.
And God, I have it all because I'm not where I used to be.
Go ahead.
I'm not on the corners no more. I'm not jumping in and out of cars.
Go ahead.
You know, trying to get that high. And I feel good. I feel like I'm on top of the world, whether I am, whether people, it doesn't matter what people think.
That's
it doesn't
right.
matter
Keep it on
how
the
you
eye.
feel about me. That's how I feel about me.
Keep it on the eye.
And this is an I thing. I am a selfish when it comes to my recovery. Even towards, I remember my mom saying to me some things, you know, that I should not do. I said, Mom, I appreciate you, and I know I disappointed you in many ways of saying that I'm not going to get high again. But you have to let me do this. And I got out the rehab. I stayed with my mom. And if I hadn't got out of my mom's house, I would have got high again, because my mother stayed on top of me. And I know she didn't mean no harm. But like I told her, no disrespect, Mom, but you can't do my recovery. I got to go. I left. I moved over. I stayed with my mom for a year. I left. I moved over top of a smokehouse, because that's the only place I could find at that time in Dorian Court. And boy, did I go through it. coming through. Anybody that got high, no, the aroma gonna hit you.
Oh, is it? We'll smell it 50 miles away.
Tore me up, but just what? I fought. And if I ever told a lie today, if I ever told a lie, we all tell a little lie, but this is not a lie. I did not pick up, I have not picked up, and I had not used.
Go ahead.
Marijuana, drink, I hadn't had none of that in 40 years, August the 27th.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
That's the truth of my life. You know, I don't have no long drawn out speech to say. You know, trust me, keep it very simple. As you say, I'm getting a little tongue tied. You know, but you know, I appreciate everybody in my life. You know, that supported me. You know, and as well as I can say, my mom, my aunt, may they rest in peace, and my children that I took through the ringer. But they stood tall. They never disrespect me because, first of all, I was a mother until I got there.
Go ahead.
And I came back and was a better mother.
Go ahead.
And if I had to do what I did that turned in my life, you know what? I'm glad for it because it made me a better person.
Yes.
It made me a better person. Before drugs, I was not responsible. I didn't pay no bills. I dressed my kids.
Everybody know that about you.
Dress my children. On welfare. My kids gonna look good. The electric gonna get cut off. I'm gonna get it cut back on. They gonna come. May he rest in peace. Cable Jeff gonna come cut it back. You know, that's how I live.
That was our buddy.
But just what? Today I pay bills. Today I pay my bills.
Yes.
I pay my bills. I know that's not the way to live.
Go ahead.
Even though we got put out of every place, I always had a place for my children to go. But that wasn't living. That was not living. That was so irresponsible. But today I am responsible. Can I pat my own self on the back? I am responsible. I pay my bills. So nobody can come say, we're taking your car.
Go ahead.
You're getting put out. The electric off. No, my bills are getting paid today. And that's what I meant by when I say from being the way I was on drugs and learned what I learned today. It's the best thing to learn by your mistakes. And I learned a lot.
Yes.
I learned a lot.
Yes.
And the most part is responsibility. Is responsibility. When I say I am responsible, I am very, very responsible. And I am so proud of it. I am so proud of it because I wasn't always finding somewhere for me and my kids to live, lectured off, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that wasn't it. That wasn't it. So today, I am a very responsible addict, and I'm Sharon Potts, and I am a recovering addict.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let them tears fall. There's one thing I can tell you, y'all. I'm telling you, when we find ourselves and we find our recovery, and we know that God is there for us, taking care of us, you know, and fight through this thing. I was blown when Sharon told me that, you know, she said, Tracy, you know, I didn't go to the rooms, you know, and all that. I said, look, Sharon, that's the more important for you to be on here. Because what works for me may not work for you.
Exactly.
And what works for you may not work for her or me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We just give our strengths and hope and our love to try to let you know that every way that you're told to recovery may not work for you. But you have to build your bear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have to put your pieces together that works for you. You know, because again, it's on the eye.
Yes.
And it's always up to you to make your choice or your decisions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't take anybody's credit. I don't take put anybody under a situation, even if I'm sponsoring them. You know, under a situation where, you know, you got to do what I say.
Exactly.
Or, you know, you got to do it this way.
Exactly.
Who am I? I can't do that.
And that was another problem of mine. I don't take, you can't tell me what to do. You know, and I'm not saying that it's not workable, but I'm just a part that, you know, who are you? You know, think you are telling me, you know, I need to do X, Y, Z, and A, Y. You know, I just, had a problem with that. So a lot of things I had a problem with, but like by the grace of God, I'm still.
You still did it.
I'm still.
You still did it.
I'm
Even
still
though,
doing it.
you know, I mean, when you went to the rehab, I know they gave you 12 steps to Narcotics
Yes.
Anonymous. I know they gave
Yes.
you NAAA.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's just what they do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I know a lot of people who did it your way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of people who never even went to the rehab
Mhm.
and still clean to this
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
So you can recover. You are the engine. You are the engine to this journey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And when you find a higher power, when you get sick and tired of just being sick and tired, you won't fall forth, some of us, and we're going to do what we have to do in order to get help. I had a problem with people telling me what to do too.
Mhm.
Not like you do. 'Cause
You know
you
me.
know I know you. You know I know you, girl. You know what I mean? But, you know, I had to learn how to listen so that I can hear.
Right.
And when I was able to listen and hear, I was able to start seeing and comprehending.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I let my guard down. That's just the human part of us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But the sick part of us is welding us and welding us and welding us too, because it don't want us to get clean.
Right.
You know, and when I finally started listening and found out that this thing was a disease that was cunning, baffling, and powerful, you follow what I'm saying?
Exactly.
To me, I was ready to challenge it too.
Yes.
But I wasn't one that can do it without the help that I received.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I share that 24/7.
Right.
You know, my sister Berlin,
Mhm.
Lean,
Mhm.
God rest my sister's soul. I miss her so much.
Mhm.
My sister Lena told me to get out of her face.
Okay.
You know, she was like, you
That's
can
right.
tell her
That's
shit.
right. That's right.
And she was like, girl, get out of my face. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Don't tell me what I need to do. You know, I'm going to church. And that's what she did.
That's right. That's
She
right.
went to church.
That's right.
And my sister stayed clean.
Yeah. That's right.
She didn't go back to drugs and alcohol.
Mhm.
You know, but that's what worked for her.
That's right.
Like what worked for you worked for you. You know, and this is why I like to bring people on to help me, you know, with their information and strengths and hope, because it's different strokes for different folks.
Right.
I recommend highly the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous because that's what works for me. You know what I mean? She went to God. She went to God and she challenged it.
Yes.
And you were successful. You know what I mean? I know you've been clean for 40 years.
Yes, I have.
You know what I mean? We got clean at the same time.
Exactly.
You follow what I'm saying? We seen each other. We got clean at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she did it her way, and I did it mine. So for the ones who saying, you know, or feel like, you know, they can't, you know, go by steps. Some people say, dang, 12 steps? Disease will make you think those are so many steps. They'll make you think that you'll never get through those 12 steps. But you got to, you know, look at it and give it to God, you know, your higher power, whomever you choose to call your higher power. And remember, we took thousands of steps to go get dope.
Yes,
we
we
took
did.
thousands of steps without cars, without anything, in rain, sleet, snow, or hail, you know, to go get dope or to go get alcohol. You know what I mean? And 12 ain't going to hurt you to save your life. You follow what I'm saying? It won't hurt you to save your life. Actually, you'll be so grateful and so happy and so in love with yourself.
And that's,
Tell them what that love feel like.
I love
Tell them
me to
what
death.
that love feel
I
like.
love me to death.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that love
me
is
to
so
death.
special, man. It's a high that it can't be replaced until you actually get there to know what it feels like. You know, we've been embraced around love with men, with shoes, you know, with all the materialistic things. You know what I'm saying? But we never felt love really felt love. You know, and I'm not saying everybody. So don't misunderstand me when I'm saying this. I'm saying the ones of us who suffer from drugs and alcohol and a chronic disease, okay, called addiction. A chronic disease called addiction. It's a whole new entity when you get high. It's a whole different world. You know, a whole different world. And you have to have something greater than yourself. If you're listening, you see, Sharon said she didn't go by the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. But what did she do first? She found a higher power. She found God.
Yes.
You know? And and look where she's at. Like, that was the walk he gave us, Sharon. He gave us that walk for a reason, because he don't make mistakes.
Exactly.
I love him so much.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He does not make mistakes. And our past was for us. And we are survivors.
Right. Yes.
We are survivors. That's why it was so important to me to have you on this show, because we made it out of there.
Yes, Lord.
And we was doing some things.
Yes. Yes.
We was
Yes.
doing some things.
Yes.
We was doing things that you would never
Exactly.
expect for a person, if you knew us, to be doing. You know what I mean? But that chronic power of addiction and disease is vicious. And when I say vicious, I mean vicious. That thing is powerful. That thing is so powerful, I tell you, you will lose yourself. It took us from being a mom.
Yes.
It took us from being a daughter.
Yeah.
It took us from being a sister.
Yeah.
It took us from being a friend.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we didn't even care.
Mm.
We didn't feel none of that when we was doing that, because we had no emotions. No emotions.
But
It is hard to build and find your emotions. That's what we're talking about when we mean in self. We had to find, we had to fight for those emotions. We had to dig deep to get them again.
Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
Yeah, we had to dig real deep to get them, because, see, disease is vicious, it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. And what it does, the first thing it do is allow you to enjoy yourself and have fun and think that everything is okay, and then it's just slicing your emotion. It's just taking your emotion, bits and pieces, and you don't even feel it. You don't even know that it's happening. And by the time you do pay attention, now you feel like people coming at you.
Exactly.
That's what happened with me.
Yes.
And I still thought I was the bomb. I
Yes.
still thought I was that girl.
Yes.
I still thought I was the shit. And I didn't even know my looks changed. You feel me?
Exactly.
And you couldn't convince me that it did.
Because we couldn't see it.
You couldn't say it
We
again.
couldn't see it. We didn't go to no mirrors.
Said,
We didn't go to
no
mirror.
reflections.
None.
That's
we
right.
We didn't look in a mirror.
That was forbidden
We
per
didn't look in a
disease,
mirror.
say disease.
You know, and when I went to the rehab, and I only went once, when I went to the rehab, I'm like, these people, I didn't open up. I think I was there for about 2 weeks before I opened up. A girl came in, and she shared my whole life
Story.
I
Was that
broke
amazing,
down
though?
crying.
Was that amazing?
From that point, because when I went, I didn't go to stop. I still had reservations of getting high. I'm not going to go down the project no more, and I'm going to go this place and go. But I learned some things, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I learned some things. I learned that I don't care where you go, get high at, you still going to be where you let off at.
That's right.
Okay, and I shared that, and I learned that once I broke down and opened up, and then I got into my program at the rehab. I got into it because for 2 weeks, maybe going on 3 weeks, I wasn't nothing but, as they say, a lump in the log.
That's it.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like I was them people or none of the above. But once she shared that story, that thing broke me in, and I realized that, girl, you can't go home and get high.
Girl,
You're going to be right back where you started from. So once I surrendered.
Go ahead.
And that's why today I can say I'm coming up on 40 years clean.
Let me share with you some people that's watching. And Stacey Love is on. Hey, Stace. At East Lachelle, Pam Dana.
Hey, Pam.
Your girl, hey, Pam. And Leslie Brown. Hey, Denise. Hey, Denise. Kiana Palmer. Love her so much.
How you doing?
So much. You got to meet her. You'll meet her at the reunion.
Okay.
Hey, Key. And you got, this is Hartroy Bradley, Robin Holland, Tamara. Hey, you remember Tamara? Tamara is like a sponsor to me. Yeah. Her story is one of the stories that I listened to, so I was hearing it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started to seeing a lot in my recovery through her. They was awesome, man. They was the queens. You know, hey, Beth. Hey, Beth. Let me send Beth some kisses. Hey, Beth. And my girl Angie. Of course, Shamira Randolph. Flora. Sandra Butler.
Hey, Sad.
Sad. Is that Sad? Sat. Hey, Sat. That's in our sister Sat know where we coming from. Donna Billups, Teresa Cotman.
Teresa.
Is
Hey,
that
baby.
Teresa?
That's my baby there.
Oh, okay.
That's
She
my
said, I'm so
baby.
proud of you both. Two beautiful women. Jewel, hey, queen.
Jewel.
and Pam said, grace, love, hope.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. And Roxanne John said, hey, Roxy. Roxy going to be coming on, too.
Okay.
She said, good evening to us. And this my baby T, you know, from Made It Happen.
Okay.
Y'all gotta check Made It Happen out. Y'all know it has everything from flyers to shirts to whatever. They are fire, you know, and they're located on Philadelphia Pike.
Oh, okay.
Where the dollar store is.
Okay.
You know, y'all got to check my girl out. Put your info on here, T. Put your info on. Sandy Butler, and that's Sandy Butler, or is that
That's
Sat. Okay, and Renee. Hey, Renee. Y'all know I like to stop and shout out, you know, so she can know who's, you know, who's shouting her out. Actually,
Appreciate
you know what I mean, and is respectfully on, you know, listening to your story, you know, because a lot of us, that some of the names that I read on here already know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They already know. And some of them share the same lifestyle that we share.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for the grace of God, y'all, we got out.
Yes.
We got out. You hear me? We got out and we found ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We found ourselves and we didn't turn around and look back because, you know, I was in Better House once too. That was it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That beating, once I came alive, I
Yeah.
felt that beating after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was only what? Better House, Eagleville, and Miramar.
Yes.
Remember?
I slept for 4 days because I was tired.
For what? Girl,
I slept for 4 days.
girl, when I went in.
My mother told me when they called, I was at my mom's,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing but God.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my mom's, and they called and said they had a bid for me. And she said it was on a Thursday. That Friday, she said, if you don't go, Sharon, don't ever come back here again.
Ooh, girl,
And my mother never said that.
Oh,
never said
y'all
that.
remember I told y'all what my mom said?
And I got up Friday and I left. But just what? I was back there Monday morning for my brother-in-law, who I loved it. My brother Scoop.
Go
I
ahead.
love him dearly. That's my brother.
Yep.
He took me up there. I was there. I slept the whole way up there. Got there because you had a blackout, so they let you rest up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I slept.
Not Better
for
House,
3
didn't it?
Even
Yeah.
did. I slept
Better
for 3
House,
days.
yeah.
They didn't have no choice. They had a dead woman walk. It wasn't nothing they could do but let me sleep.
They was gonna put me out, girl. I got there about 3 o'clock in the morning. They was gonna put me up 6 o'clock. I don't scrub a floor.
Girl, I slept 3
Girl,
days.
scrub the floor, y'all. I was like, I ain't scrubbing no damn floors. I ain't coming here for
They
that.
gave it to me. They gave me them 3 days. And
Doc
after
Watson
that,
told me, look, just like this. He put his hand on my shoulder with my shirt and shit. He said, I'll let your ass in here and I'll put your ass in the F house. That's what he took. Because they was hard. They didn't play.
yeah,
They demand respect
I was dead.
Nothing like
dead.
that.
I was dead. I was dead. So, you know, I thank Eagleville, you know, for them.
Shout out to Eagleville. Still helping people.
I thank them
To this day.
because they made me see the light. Guy person, Eagleville, they showed me the light. You know, they showed me the light. You know.
I was trying to get this morning. I wanted to. I was going past Crozier, and I usually go that way to work. I just wanted to just ride past, right? And I looked over and looked at Better House because you know Better House been closed up. And before they do that, I have to go get me a picture of Better House. You know, because secretly, really, y'all, I'm writing a book. Edwina talked me in. My girl was on here the other day into writing a book. And I need that picture. You know what I mean? Because that was the start of my life. You know what I mean? I will not ever forget it. You know what I mean? If I could take that place and put it in one of them little glass seals like that, I'll have it sitting right on my table. You know what I mean? But I will forever be grateful. To Better House because it and you know how the list was back then when we used to try to get into rehab. The list was so long, y'all, it was pathetic. You know, now it's like a rotating door. They just let them in with no recovery. That's how I look at it.
and that's another situation that I have a problem with, because that rotating, what you just said,
That rotating door.
that somebody keeps going back to, and I have girlfriends that, I have a friend that, you know, this is what her husband did, you know, I'm going to the rehab, and I told her, I said, sweetie, and down to earth with her, because she didn't understand. I said, don't listen to that. He coming right back out and get high. That ain't nothing to make you think that he's not going to do this again, but he is. I said, because they don't give you no medication, you get nothing but therapeutic treatment. They
Not today.
well, see, I don't know nothing about today.
Yeah,
I ain't been
today
back.
you get more of the medication than the treatment. It's like kind of, to me, vice versa.
Oh,
You know what I mean? That's why.
Well, I thank God for no medication.
And we were blessed.
I thank God for no medication.
When they made it a mental health situation,
Okay.
look, it changed everything.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. But I said to her that, you know, at that point, that's all I knew was therapeutic treatment. So to me, to go back, again, it just didn't make sense to me to keep going back and back and back, and you're not getting, you know, no medication. Well, I don't want no medication, because the Tylenol put me to sleep.
Hey,
You
you know what? But that's the power and strength that you have. You know what I'm saying? And from us coming from addiction and being the one thing that beat us the worst in our life, for me, was my addiction.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll fight anybody. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You talk what you talk, but we're going to walk that walk. We're going to get it in.
Right.
One got to win, right?
That's
And
right.
look, I challenged addiction the same way, but that thing tore me up.
Yeah.
I couldn't win.
Yeah.
I could not win.
Exactly.
And that's where the rock bottom came in at.
Exactly.
You know, and I stopped on my own many a times. Could be for 2 weeks. That was a long time to me. It could be for a month. I can get a job, get my life back like it's supposed to be. First check, it was over.
It was over. It was over.
It was over.
It was over. Yeah.
It was over because I had already planned, because I didn't know the voice. You know, what I call the voice is the sickness, the disease. You know what I mean? And that's that subconscious mind, period. You know what I mean? Because you hear what you're going to do before you do it.
Exactly.
Period. Nobody can say that they don't. You know what I mean? But some of us could be so far gone that that voice becomes normal. That voice becomes who you are. You don't hear you no more. You know? Because disease take you totally away from yourself until you die. You follow what I'm saying? They say jails, institutions of death, and they never told a lie about it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But today, you know, with the drugs and, you know, everything in the way the rehabs and all these things are done and set up now, and you know what I mean? It was love, care, and concern in the rehabs when we were there.
Right.
We all had that power. A counselor that was the man or the woman of the house. You know, like they call me Miss T. You know what I'm saying? You know, that shows that, you know, they had highly respect for you. You know what I mean? And you're not gonna, I don't tolerate the disrespect or the madness.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm built for it.
Right.
Because walk the walk.
That's right.
So I can talk the talk.
Right.
And I'm from the street. You know what I mean? I done been through all the nonsense. Trey still exists. That's what I call my sickness. You know what I mean? And she will wake up if you go too far.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean just to want to fight somebody. I mean with the mouth too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's all this that makes this.
Right.
You follow what I'm trying to say? You know, so I had Doc Watson and Levert Todd, my cousin Levert Todd. I will never, ever forget those two men. Them two men helped me get on my feet, period. Those two men helped me find myself, you know, in that rehab. They was built for me. They knew how to tolerate my shit, but yet not going to tolerate my shit. And they were straight and forward.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what we need, because we so
Gotta have
hard-hitting and rebellious.
Gotta have it.
You know? I needed them to come at me.
I did too, because a week when it's like...
Even though I didn't back down, but you know what I'm saying?
We had pride.
I'm not backing down. Who do you think you're talking to? I don't, and that was me.
And they talk some stuff.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
They talk some stuff back then.
Yeah.
There ain't no sliding and nothing, man. The profanity, that's why I tell y'all that's our language. That's the language we understand. You know what I mean? Because that thing was given to us back then, boy. You know, but it helped us.
It helped us.
That's the crazy part. It helped us. It wasn't disrespectful. I was the one being disrespectful. You know what I mean? The words that they chose to use and the way that they did things made me check myself. This is why when, you know, my clients today, if my clients is cussing, you know, and they doing all that, look, I'm cussing with them. You know what I mean? They could be like, I don't want to say this on the camera, but I'm going to say it anyway. They could be like, that bitch make me sick. I'm like, that bitch make me sick. No.
Okay.
You do too. What make you think you ain't making me sick?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But they like it. It's the challenge. It's the challenge and it's the sternness in you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I always talk about the sickness. I forgive you for what you just said. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at you.
Right.
You know, if I have one that's still mad at me for a few days, I'm like, you're not ready to let that go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if not, I still give you more time. I'm live and let God.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I was saying to Sharon, you know, the way that, you know, she has formed her Yellow Brick Road, you know, to recovery is beautiful. It's beautiful. It don't have to be the way that I feel as though it is, for like the way it works for me. You know, and I want y'all to understand that. You know what I mean? She has just as much knowledge and understanding in recovery as I do, because it's hers. And I can't tell her it don't work. Look at her. It's been 40 damn years. How am I saying, you know, you can't do it like that? You've been doing it for 40 years. You know what I mean? Like me. You know, she can't judge my 12 steps because I've been clean for 40 years too. You follow what I'm saying? From cocaine. You know what I mean? So it's whatever works for you. You know, recovery you don't have to have like stipulations put on you, but I was weak. You know what I mean? I wasn't strong enough to do what she did. I had to do what I had to do.
Exactly.
You follow what I'm saying? And I die by these 12 steps. Y'all know I share every Wednesday. It's my medication. Without it, I don't think I would have survived this thing. You follow what I'm saying? Because I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop, and I was dying. You know, because this thing is a silent killer.
Yes, it is.
It's a silent killer, y'all. It makes you believe that it's all right. It's okay. And it's not.
No, it's not.
And it's not. You know, I even share my opinion about sociable addicts.
No, that we think we're social.
Thank you. I just wanted you to say it too. You know what I'm saying? You know, because poison's poison. I don't care how you do it, how much you do it, when you do it, why you do it.
We thought we were socialized.
Yes, because I started socializing first year.
Yeah. And then in less than no time, I got you. Yeah, they want us to think that we're socializing.
This voice is so powerful. This voice is so strong. You know what I mean? This voice, and I know everybody has to hear your voice before you do anything, because that comes first, before you even speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Say hello. Say hi.
Yes.
Go to the store. You know, do what you got to do. You follow what I'm saying? That subconscious mind comes first, you know? And in sickness, you know, in my sickness with disease, it gets real loud. It gets real cocky. It gets real controlling. It makes me forget that I have a voice. And then all I listened to was it, which was introduced to me as disease. You follow? Because of my addiction to the drug.
Right.
Make sense?
Right.
That's how I got it. You know? And it wasn't lying. It wasn't lying, because once I learned how to listen, I started hearing the damn voice.
Exactly.
I never heard the damn voice. I never heard it that way. So what you trying to say? I'm crazy?
Yeah.
You know I am? And come find out I was crazy.
Crazy as hell.
Crazy as asshole. Boo!
Yes. Crazy.
You know what I mean? And you know them names get vicious. Don't be calling me out my damn name.
Yes.
You know the fighting words, you know. Ain't nothing crazy about me. I made a mistake.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. And come find out both is true. I did make a mistake.
Yeah, we did make
I
a
made
mistake.
bad choices.
And we was crazy as
And
hell.
we was crazy.
Yes,
The mistake we made us crazy.
Made us crazy. Exactly. You know, but not that I have to justify anything to anybody. You know, I live by that. that was with the drug. This is how powerful this drug is. Once again, made me into what it wanted me to be. That wasn't Sharon. If you know me, you know all that I did and all that. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That's this. I said that to say this. That drug is so powerful.
Oh,
it will turn you to what it wants. As they say,
it wants you to be.
Want you to be. Want you to be.
And we're the only ones that don't see it.
Don't see it.
We don't see it.
Don't see it. You
We
know,
don't see. I think for everybody that has been on this live has shared that same thing. You know what I mean? Because the disease don't discriminate. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. You know what I mean by don't discriminate. It don't treat anybody any different than abuse and use and lose.
That thing, that article, My Name is Cocaine.
Oh,
is
it powerful? I said I'm gonna bring it on here and read it to them. Do you know that kept me clean?
Yes.
Do you know that made me understand disease?
Yes.
They could have wrote it better.
I don't know who wrote it.
I don't know who wrote it.
And I always say I don't know who wrote that, and I don't know. I want to meet the person that wrote that, and I want to meet the person that invented this darn cocaine. I want to meet them because I want to kill them. You know, I want to because that wasn't right. You know, but we have a choice today.
That's that devil.
We have a choice today. We have a choice today.
And that's why I serve.
And I choose life.
That's why I serve. That's why I soldier this, y'all.
Yes.
This is that's what we sitting here doing. We're soldiering for our higher power because all he asks us to do in return is to spread. All he asks us to do in return is to help the still suffering addict and alcoholics today. You know what I mean? And you ones that's out there shopping crazy. That's an addiction too. But you know what? That's what I flipped to. I flipped to shopping, going crazy in the house. And remember how we used to change our furniture all the time? If I wasn't selling something, you were selling something. We used to just buy, shop, close. But you know what? I can lay back, look at it, enjoy it, and not smoke it.
And smoke it.
And not smoke it, baby. You know what I mean? And don't go insane over it. Be happy with it.
Be happy.
You know what I mean? And I'll take that high any day. But it is an addiction. You know, the money that I be spending is unnecessary. I'm doing good on mine. I don't know about you. As I get older, I learned how to look Sharon, assess all right.
I was in the store every day because like I'm so used to clothes and I don't have them because I lost all this weight, right? And I got all these clothes. Everybody says, I'm coming to get in your closet. Or if you're paying for it, I'm sorry. I got to get some more.
Exactly.
You know? So I was in the shop. My son said, Mom, where you at? I said, in the mall. He called me, because they call me every day. Mom, we're out in the mall. Mom, you've been in the mall every day. I said, I need clothes. I need clothes. It's like, oh my, come on, it ain't that serious. I said, okay, then bye. Bye. Yeah, bye.
And no, that's worth to us. That's joy to us. When you have something, when you have yourself taken from you, you know what I mean? Out of no control, and you had to fight so hard to get it back. You're gonna cherish this thing. This thing is gonna be inseparable to anybody else. It's gonna belong to you. You're gonna love you, and that love is gonna surround you and wrap you like a whip. You know how you can take a whipping and it go around circles in your body. You know what I mean? That's what it does. You know, and you can't let nobody unwhip you. And you know, you learn how.
They can't touch this.
No,
you know, with nothing. You know,
and that's not in a bad way. But it's a selfish way for me.
I'm so happy with me. I am so happy with me. And all my children, I love them to death. Everybody who know me know. But my Naeem, he tells me, Mom, and they do, but not like Naeem tells me all the time. You know, Mom, I'm just so proud of you.
Awesome. Isn't that beautiful to hear?
I'm just so proud of you, Mom.
Yeah, I just want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
And
I'm proud of where you are.
They do.
You know what I mean?
But Naeem praises me to the utmost. He does. He praises me. And Faran Shai does too. And all the rest.
My kids tell me that too, but they don't tell me like that. You know
that's how Naeem does.
What you want to hear.
Naeem, that's Naeem. I mean, on any, just call me up, Mom. I'm so proud of you. You know. And my Mina, when I was leaving today, she was on the phone with her psychiatrist. She said, Molina, what's that big smile on your face? She said, I'm looking at my mother. Then she turned the camera around so her psychiatrist could see me, and she was like, oh, Nina, I see why. You know, she said, beautiful. Oh, where's mom going?
Mm-hmm.
You know, she said, she's going to speak. And she said, okay. She said, good luck. I said, thank you, you know. But, you know, it's just a joy that I bring to them, she came into my life after the fact, but I still shared that part of my life with her.
That's right.
I shared that part of my life with her.
I let moms know.
And I let her know the reason.
That's right.
The reason that you're in my life is because of my recovery.
Your recovery.
You know, I said, God had a plan for me. I said, see, I watched children in and out of smokehouses. Thank God mine didn't have to. I had a family. And they had mine. My children were not in no smokehouses when I was smoking and, you know, things like that. I said, so the first year of my recovery, that's what I did. I started foster caring children the first year. You know, I wasn't even on my feet that long, but this is what God told me. I got you. You do my work and I got you. You know, and trust and believe He has me. He has had me all the way. I was in a 2-bedroom house and they were putting 9 kids in my house, but guess what? We made it. We made it. And I have a problem with the system because the system stinks. You know, I ain't had room for the kids, but they just wanted to put them anywhere. Anywhere. You know, so that's why when it came time for me to adopt my children and they came to my house, oh, Miss Potts, we got to do this paperwork. I said, I got to do nothing. I
remember them days.
Yes, I don't have to do anything.
I remember them days.
I'm going to this court hearing and I'm walking out with these kids. Mine. Because I'm going to tell the truth when I go out there. Y'all ain't did nothing.
Good for
Y'all ain't did nothing. I got my second foster child because he was being abused by his foster parent. So y'all don't do y'all job. And I'm not going to help y'all with it because I don't like it. I'm here for these children.
That's right.
Not for y'all.
That's right.
And I walked out of that courtroom and I told the judge the truth. And he signed papers and granted me them 3 kids.
Go ahead.
He granted me to adopt them 3 kids. I didn't go in it for adoption. I went in it to help children, but I had them kids for so long, I couldn't see them turn around and go into another home.
That wouldn't treat them.
That wouldn't treat them right. And wasn't going to love them.
Wasn't going to love them.
Wasn't going to love them like the love that I gave them.
Let me give some more shout outs. You have Monique Singleton. She's watching. Alex Brown. Is that a female or a male? But Alex Brown. Stephanie Williams is watching.
Hey, Steph.
Anita. Hey, Nita.
Hey, Nita.
Nita's watching. Kaheen. That's my nephew, Curtis.
Okay.
You know, Benita Dowler.
Hey, Nita.
She's watching. Steve Boats. Steve Boats is
Hey,
watching.
Steve.
And Denise Dowler
Hey,
Jones.
sister.
That's my baby. She's one of the first ones that was on this live, and she has been on it since.
Okay.
I appreciate her. Tiffany Henson, Samuel Williams, Francis Jackson. You remember Francis Jackson?
Not offhand.
Yeah, Francis Jackson, Marta Brown, Rabia Ahmed. That's one of my besties too.
Okay.
Jewel again, you know, and Donna Billups Johnson. She said, will you have justifying and rationalizing the most outrageous sorts of nonsense?
Okay.
You know, girl, you know, with some of these stories, Donna, my niece, Dr. Lakia Chambers, hey, King. Tamika Williams, she's on here as well. Some of the stories that we could tell y'all on this live, an hour is just not enough time. You know what I mean? Because today we can sit down and talk about it.
Yes.
We can talk about it with no mouths, no nothing. You know, I mean, it gets emotional at times because it's not the bad that we've done, it's the good that we're doing that makes us get emotional. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, I'm not saying not all of the bad that we think about because we have so much stuff suppressed that sometimes it takes something to happen to even know that that happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just went through some stuff, girl. When that's why I'm writing this book. I came up with some things because I had to dig real deep in my situation. And I came up with some things I wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't even trying to, remember or anything. But going back to what I need to try to figure out took me through the twilight zone. It was crazy, Sharon. It was like being in a tunnel all by myself, just sitting there like this, watching my life as a little kid. You know what I mean? As a young girl going into teenage life, and you know what I mean, trying to figure out, where did I make this mistake? Where did I do this? You know what I mean? Because sitting up trying to do it, you know what I mean, with my big girl pants on, wasn't allowing me to go that far. But the pain that I got with it took me back. And it took me back down Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? So I can say for a fact that it is so much that I still have to find and surrender to. This is why we say that, in recovery, the way that I recover, it's never over.
No.
It's never over. And this is why we say we have to live with this disease.
It's for the rest of our lives.
We have for the rest of our lives.
And I hear people say,
and you see, we did it a bit different, but we still got the same rules, because we know, because it's going to come. But it's going to come to you the way it needs to come to you for you. You follow what I'm saying? I love this. I love this life so much. I love it. And you know what? It brought me to the point of my situation that I said, I know I'm telling the truth. You know what I mean? Because I know the truth gonna set you free.
That's right.
And I've been doing that for a long time.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I can joke around, I can play around, but when it's something that's serious and it's something that has to be done, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth, because if I start telling lies, because I know I'm a liar, I live the life of a liar as an active addicted.
That's right.
In my active addiction. You know what I mean? So I know that don't go away. It's all just in remission. You know what I'm saying? I call her Trey Trey. I just put it in remission. I don't want to live her no more, because she took me nowhere but down. You follow what I'm saying? But, the truth that has been setting me free has been releasing me. You know what I mean? I cried. I got mad. I got angry. And you know what I did? I prayed. And I kept praying. You know what I mean? And I prayed for the other people that was involved in this. You know what I mean? Which is my family. You know what I mean? But I had to let go.
We have to.
I had to let go.
Let go and let God.
I had to let go and let God.
I tell people, I say, she said, I got high. We good at making excuses. And that's we. If you notice everything I say we. Because I don't exclude myself.
Absolutely not.
Out of none of it, okay?
Right.
So when people say, because I went back out and got high because my son went to jail, my mother died. I said, okay, I had all that. I said, you're sitting here with excuses, but if you get honest with yourself, you can get better with yourself, and you can tell yourself, because the bottom line, you got high because you chose to.
That's right.
That's the reason you got high.
Hallelujah.
The other ones are excuses. If that's the case, I would be back out there.
Absolutely.
I would be back out there.
Honesty is the
I would be back out there.
Have to.
And you have to.
Is the number one power medication.
You have to.
It is the number one thing that can stand up to that lying-ass disease.
That's right.
And you can't fake it. You cannot fake it. Because this thing is real.
Yes.
You cannot fake it. You have to be honest, and that's surrendering. You have to surrender. You know what I mean? With whomever you choose to call God, there's still some rules and some regulations and ways that we have to follow. You know what I mean? But, how we do it, you know what I mean? And the way that we do it don't have to be the same, but thank God that we do have these options, and we do have other people who don't you know, share, or like I love the fact that, you know, you was sharing how you didn't follow the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. I said, that's what I need. I need people to come on here and share their stories, share their strengths and hope, because you won't believe how some people do what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You won't believe, but I guarantee you the number one is going to be find a higher power greater than yourself.
Yes, God.
It's going to be that. That's for sure. Because you can't do it without it.
No, you can't.
You can't do it without it. It's another strength greater than yourself. This thing is vicious. Because disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It's a menace. It's a menace. And some people don't even get high and still suffer with some of these ways.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That suffer with some of these ways. You know what I mean? You know, people could still look at you, you know, like, well, I didn't do that, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. Like I said, what works for one may not work for the next. You know what I mean? Well, she was this and she was that. She was a nasty thing. She did this. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names don't hurt me. Not today. Not today. Back in the day, I probably punch you in your face or kick you in your head. You know what I mean? But not today, because I'm not doing that.
Go on and get. Go on and get. Go on and get. That's what you can do with permission.
It's okay. That's right. It's okay today, because guess what? I found love.
I found love.
Did you? I found love. That's right. I found love first and foremost before anybody but God. Because if I haven't found love, I can't love you. It won't be no room for you. I can't love my children. I can't love one of the grandkids. I can't love on life. I can't do nothing.
Right.
And life be what? Life is.
Yeah. Lifeless. Yeah.
I guess somebody then came up with that little sound, that little slogan now, life be life. And we just think it just be running with it because it sounds good, though. It fits it.
Yeah.
It fits it.
It does.
You know what I mean? But y'all, I am so, hey Robin, I am so grateful. Edwina, how you doing? She said, which is that all are ill to some extent. Absolutely, we all got an ill point. It is no doubt about that, honey.
Yes.
We all got an ill point. Hey, Cola, Cola's watching, and Tracy, Becky, hey y'all, how y'all doing? Thanks for being on. Erica Tillery said hi, Queens. That's my girl. She been on here too. You know, it's so all of them. Everybody just been on this live. Who's that?
Erica.
Always another stylist. Erica, yeah. You know, I love it. I love it. Anita Marie Aiken said, thanks for telling your story. To God be all the glory. Help somebody. That's what we're trying to do, honey. That's what we're trying to do. She has a podcast too. Okay. You know, Anita did. She once asked me to be on it, but at the time it was so much going on. I really like doing my events and stuff. Oh, okay. It was hard for me to go on. Okay. But guess what, Nita? I still want to come on. That's for a fact. You know, and we're gonna make it happen when it happens. You know, Kelly Sellers is watching. Dawn Hudson. Dawn said, hey Sharon. Hi. Miriam Good. She said, God bless both of us. Edwina Bell said, blessings. Sheila Green. Hey Sheila, that's my bestie from Cali. Hey Sheila. And then Felicia Johnson, she's on. Hey Felicia, she got a purple heart. That means recovery. And y'all know that, you know, purple is recovery's color. You know what I mean? So even for, you know, the celebration, you know, the honorary celebration for you guys, you know, you can wear purple if you like. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to express the color in the decor. You know what I mean? But you can really wear what you choose to wear. The purple carpet is going to be purple as well. You know what I mean? So, I mean, y'all know me. I'm a white party girl. I always say, you ain't got to ask my color. You know what I'm saying? Now my sister is having the party that I will most certainly be there. It's no doubt about that. You know, Samuel Williams, he's on. You know, but y'all throw some questions to us. You know, or to Sharon if you need to. Y'all know me. You know, when every live is good, every one, there's none better than the other. You know what I mean? It just gets stronger and better. You know what I mean? I don't size up anybody's time on this live because it's all recovering. You know what I mean? It's all love, you know, and it's all coming from the heart, and it's all authentic. You know what I mean? Y'all know, if anything about my life, it can't be nothing but that. It can't be nothing but authentic. I can smell it if it's some old off-the-chain stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Because we got that sense. Exactly. You know what I mean? Recovering people, we got that sense. Exactly. Believe me. You know, you can talk to me and try to make yourself sound good, but you only lying and hurting to yourself. You know what I mean? It's just making me stronger. I say better you than me. Exactly. You know what I mean? But where you're not going to bring it at is here. Exactly. You feel me, sis? That's right. It's gonna be here. I'm not trying to rule the world. I'm trying to help save some people in it. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I tell them, I ain't Oprah. I ain't none of them. You know what I mean? I'm a survivor. Yeah, it's about them. Yeah. Yes. I'm a survivor. I'm trying to help people not feel so bad about themselves, knowing that life is life and we can live. Mm-hmm. We can live with all that hurt and that pain and everything that we done. We can live with that. You know what I mean? And still live a good life. Because once you find your higher power, that's all you need. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. They say I don't need nobody else. Right. That's all you need. Nobody else. You know? And I'm so glad, you know, that I found God in my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because as from little coming up, I just didn't trust him because he didn't help me. Right. You know? Because I had no real knowledge of what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And society wasn't going to teach me that. Because first we got to help ourselves. We got to want to help ourselves. Exactly. You know, we got to have the thinking that it's just going to happen. No, it's not. You got to, he said, you take one step, I'll take two. Yeah, that's what I used to think as a little girl. My mother made me go to church every Sunday. Girl. Ushers, can't sing, on the choir. Go to sleep. Girl. I get home, girl, come in and put my clothes on, take the church off, go put my love out there. My mom said, baby, you go lay down, you tired. Yeah. You was sleeping. You was asleep. Yeah, we done been in there since 8 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. We went to the first morning and then had to go back. All that. I'm like, yeah, and then had to go back. Yes. You know, that's a lot for a kid, though. You know, but that's how it was. You gonna get a pecking nap because you're tired. Yes. But I thank her for it. I do too. I thank her for it. I understand all of it. I understand it today. For me. Yes. Which made me love her even more. Yes. You know what I mean? Because she did her job. Yes, she did. You know what I mean? Yes, you know, once we go out into society, you know, that you gone. You gone. It's hard for us parents to get you back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You gone, but that don't mean they don't love us. No. You follow what I'm saying? That don't mean they want to sit around and watch us suffer either. My kids, you know, we went and did the things we did because let me tell you something. My mother gave us behind whippings out of our well, that was that generation. They didn't play. Yes. They didn't play. Yes. We wouldn't be doing nothing with these kids out here doing today. No, my mom's fault. Norman Jackson said we have unique ability to help each other. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Dawn Hudson said, thanks for sharing our stories, lady. Okay. And Wanda Washington is saying, hey, y'all. How you doing, Wanda? You know, girl, we getting it in here. I'm enjoying the heck out of all this. You know what I mean? I'm high as hell right now. Y'all know I get high on this thing. I be lit. Sometimes, like, I'm feeling better, too. I know y'all can hear it in my voice, you know, and my emotions and everything. You know, I'm feeling it, you know, a lot more than I was last week and the week before last. You know what I mean? And I thank God for giving, you know, helping me, you know, and getting my health back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 100, but I'm good. You know, I'm about 90. Right. You know what I mean? I even went to work today. Okay. You know, because I'm not one that's going to. I was dealing with so much emotional pain. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I had to let go because it was affecting my illness. Okay. You know what I mean? My illness is based off of my immune system being weak. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that wasn't helping. That's why I wasn't healing. Right. You know what I mean? Because my immune system was struggling. Okay. You know, fighting, you know, these 3 diseases, and then I bring this on, stress, you know, pressure stayed up, all that stuff. But for the grace of God, though, he brought me back. Amen. You know, so I know he's telling me, you got more work to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't mess around like that. That's right. I got you on a mission, soldier. Right. Yeah. You hear me?
That's right.
I got you on a mission, soldier.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying? Now bounce back up
That's right.
and stand up.
That's right.
And that's what I'm doing.
Amen.
You know, that's what I'm doing. Hey, Judy. That was Judy Shaw. And Wanda Washington said, I just joined in. I had Bible study earlier. Sharon taught me something very early. You know, so you probably going to see people. And Donna Bailey said, I love how far you both have come. God is able. Absolutely. Amen. Is that Dana?
Dana Bailey.
Oh, hey, Dana, I called you Donna, girl. you ain't even got to say it. Y'all ain't got to say nothing.
Put your glasses
I
on.
get that all the time. Y'all ain't got to say one word. I can see now the rain is going. Right. And then, yeah, Dana, love that, Dana. Love that love you just sent. Hey, boo. Girl, I was thinking about you today. I'm serious. You know, she's such a sweet person. She is such a sweet person. You know, she has such a caring heart. Hey, daughter-in-law, that's my daughter-in-law, Anya.
Okay.
You know, Anya Burton. That's Tamir's girl, my grandson Chance.
Okay.
That's Chance's mom. Such a good mom.
Okay.
Such a great mom. Jesus, such a great mom. And I enjoy, you know, just watching how they raise their son. There's a blessings to me just to be here to see these things.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't do very much on it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I ain't get that boy yet with the heart. I love him, but I still don't even like changing diapers. You know what I mean? I'm like, my grand, nope, you got to be 6 years old and able to put Michael.
I got one in my house
in the
at the house now. My great grandson. I can't breathe for him. I can't.
Yeah.
My son named said, "Why you always with my mom?" He said, "Cause I love her."
Ain't that beautiful though? When you know, like I had to start. That's something that I didn't say to my kids a lot. When they babies, you know, they come out and be, "Oh, mommy love you."
Yeah.
That shit went away. By the time they got like 2 years old, they ain't never hear it no more. You know what I mean? And I didn't either. I never once can remember my mother telling me she loves me.
Yeah, but
I know she did.
We knew they loved you. Know, I was.
They didn't just say that much.
I was telling my grandkids and them. See, I couldn't talk to my mother. I always I tell this to my great granddaughters. I have girls, and you know, and I let them know y'all could come to Gigi and talk about anything. Anything. I don't care. I don't care if you think it's wrong.
That's right.
Let us discuss it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I
said, because let me tell you something. If I went to my mom and said, "Mom, you know, I was thinking about having sex," and I said, I got behind.
Well, we would have got punished everything.
My mother
we
wouldn't have us about
nothing.
Me either.
That
was the way it was at that time.
I didn't get none of that because they were already grown and doing their own thing. I had to hustle.
And that's
this is what I tell my kids.
That's
I
why
hustle.
I said to my girls, I said, y'all could come talk to me. Come talk to me, please.
It was like I had to, like I found, you know, sister friends. You know, Disa, you know what I mean? Niecy, Brown, you know, all of them was like my sisters, my cousin, Kim, you know what I mean? Because, you know, they was partiers and stuff, you know, and I was liking what they did. I was liking how they were having fun. You know what I mean? So I wanted to be like that. I learned all that. You get everything from them.
We didn't
you know?
get that. We didn't get that from our parents, and not making them bad parents, but they.
Oh no, my mother was great. My mother was a queen. You hear what I'm saying?
Parent,
but that was their generation, and I try to make that clear, like you know, to my kids that. Generations are so different. The beliefs, the rules, everything. Like our grandmothers, most of them was mean. You know what I mean? They was mean women. They were mean women. A lot of them were. You know what I mean? And then our mothers didn't want it different for us. You know what I mean? And our mothers was hustlers more, like because the men were so abusive in their generation. Men was abusive and dogs. A whole lot of them. Maybe everybody's parents and everybody's. You know, dads and grandparents, but I know in my family that thing was off the chain. You know what I mean? And I felt every bit of it as a child. I felt every bit of it, and I couldn't say nothing.
Nope, you better
You understand?
not.
And I better not tell nobody.
You better not.
I couldn't say nothing.
No.
You know what I mean? And then you had to suppress all these pains and all these things. you know, all this abuse.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Verbally and physically and mentally. You know, so you had to learn how to deal with that.
Yes.
You know, my mother was a great mother, you know, but it was just in her time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I respect every piece of her. My mother had 9 children plus 1, and she did a hell of a job.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
With a father that didn't do nothing but abuse. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I give my mother, girl, I wish she was here right now.
Me too.
My mother be sitting on this couch with me.
I know that's right.
My mother supported me through my recovery.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
She supported me in my recovery. And I do try to, you know, I open up to my grands, you know, and my kids, and we should be able to talk about anything.
Yeah.
I'm an open mom. I'm not a mom that's stuck up.
right.
I'm not a mom that, you know, live off of
That's what I
being
tell-
embarrassed about her
that's what I
kids
tell
and all this kind of stuff on things that we done. Hey, look.
And I tell them in a minute, I know my kids did it, but I didn't say I wasn't going to have their back and stick by
That's
them.
right.
They
I was taking up for my
Yeah,
kids, but
yeah.
my kids gonna know
No,
that
that's
you
right.
are wrong.
Oh, yeah, they
You
know.
are dead wrong. You got choices to make.
My kids tell you in a minute, my mother turned us in.
Mhm.
And did it.
That's right.
I turned them in.
So you and me
Yes,
both.
I did. Yes, I
You and me
did.
both.
Yes, I did.
And guess what? It worked.
It worked.
It helped save them, even if it wasn't at that exact time.
Yeah.
They thought about that.
Yeah.
And I thank God that they changed their lives.
Mhm.
Even though I lost my baby. You understand? But he was trying to change his too. You know what I mean? He was changing
Yeah,
his too.
because just what? Ain't none of us perfect.
That's right.
We all made mistakes.
Now, right now, oh, I miss him so much. Through what I was going through, I wish he was just sitting here, sitting next to me. And let me share this with y'all. My son been dead 14 years, and I have never once dreamt of my son. Not one time. And I was really getting angry, like questioning God, like, how come I ain't dreamed of my son yet? You know what I mean? Going through this thing that I just went through, my son was in my dream. My son been dead 14 years, y'all, and I have not once, I used to trip off of that. Not once did he come to me, and he came to me. And guess what he said? And I'm telling you, you gonna be all right. And then my mother was in the dream. My mom was in the dream. You follow what I'm saying? So I was digging deep, you know what I mean?
Right,
and guess
right.
what? I just look at it as when God say he coming
He coming.
and he prevails,
He's coming.
he knew what I needed
Yeah.
and he prevailed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I see it. That's how I'm going to look at it. And guess what? It took weight off of me because I sat there with him clear as day. And everybody that knows me, my friends, y'all know I talk about that all the time. Not one time have I ever dreamt about my son.
Awesome.
So I knew it was time for me to let it go.
Right.
Leave it at God.
Living that God.
And that's what I did.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And I feel so much better.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so yes, being able to recognize these things and, you know, to handle things and knowing how to handle things today, I have my 12 steps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It gave me exactly what it promised.
Right.
It gives me exactly what it promised me. You know? And I'm gonna die that way.
Amen.
Today.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Today. I'm gonna try to get another maybe 40 in though. What you think?
Yeah. I am. I know that. I am.
I'm gonna try to get another 40 in. And I'm gonna keep on, y'all, and trying to do this for forever if I can, because I love it so much. I love being on this live, sharing with you all, you know, and meeting people, you know, and helping people and helping families to understand us, you know, and this disease that's cunning, baffling, and powerful that take our lives and just take it and change it, you know what I mean? And we have no control over ourselves, you know, and then see the blessings, you know what I mean, that we got beat up so much that we chose to fight. You know what I mean? We chose to fight, you know, and we found our higher power, you know, and guess what he did? He using us.
Yes.
You know? Because Sharon, you know, there's a lot of people going. There's so many going. I think the whole Emotion Street going.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah.
You know, you hear me, Dar. I know Dar is watching. I think everybody's going. You know? And we all was like the crew.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought about that one day too, you know. But I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah.
What time is that? Let me look at the other clock. Hold on.
It's 8:21.
Oh yeah, we rolling. Yeah, I don't want to keep sharing here, and I'm so appreciative that she came on and she shared with us. Hi, did y'all enjoy Sharon? Did y'all enjoy Sharon's story? You know what I mean? There you go, Sharon. Did it help somebody? You know what I mean? Did it help somebody? I bet it even gave people another look at Sharon. You know, you know what I'm saying? Because some people only remember what we used to do. You know what I mean? Versus don't know what we do today. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? She's been living her life. She's been living and loving herself for 40 whole years. 40 whole years. Isn't that grateful? And now we hope to get tomorrow and love ourselves even more.
Tomorrow's too much for me. I hope to get the next second when I walk
I know that's right.
See, I was so
A
rebellious.
day start with a second.
I said
That's
I was so rebellious that a day is too long. I hear addicts. Recovering addict now. A day, no. I always say the second. Now I'm with the next second because
Well, that's right.
That's how
right.
bad I was.
That is
so
right.
I a second. $2 for a day.
Carol
I
Jones
take
is
a
watching you
second.
too.
Oh,
And
okay.
April Dennis.
Uh-huh.
Hey, April! That's another one I want on here.
Yeah.
You gotta come
Oh,
on,
yeah,
April.
yeah.
Send me some hearts if you hear me. Hit that heart button. You gotta come on. You promised me. That'll be another one.
She will. My sister got so
She
much
will.
going
That's
on.
my girl.
Yeah,
I love her to death. We
my
grew up
heart.
together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
my heart.
she was one of the bullies. I'm gonna say that. Used to chase
Uh-huh.
me down Carter Street. Come on, be ashamed of yourself, April. She said, "Hey, Sharon." And Levon McBride. Hey, Vaughn. Levon said that's one thing that was normal in our household. My mother saying, "I love you," daily. That's beautiful, girl.
Yeah.
You know, it was normalized in our household. I didn't know it. Wait a minute. I didn't know it was rare in some until I was grown. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew my mom loved me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she said exactly 100, 100.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my mom loved me, but like my kids told me that. I heard my daughter know every time they talk to their father, you know what I mean? After they get ready to hang up, they be like, "I love you." You know what I mean? I'm like paying attention now and stuff. And I'm like, hold up. I said, how come y'all don't tell me you love me? That's what they said. Because you don't tell us. We know you love us, Mom.
Yeah.
But we ain't used to saying that with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So guess what I started doing?
Telling you love
Your
me.
daggone
That's
Skippy.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I make sure that my grandkids get it all the time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because that means so much.
Yeah, it
But
does.
I was mute to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that I was loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So y'all please tell everybody that you love and who you know you love them every day, each day, every chance you can get. Because guess what? People live it. Life is, what do you call it? Life is life. You know what I'm saying? And you just never know.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. You know, so, hey, Song, you know, so Linda Curry. Hey, Lynn. Lillian Cowan. Can you see? Oh, glasses right in my hand.
Lil.
Calhoun, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Levon, we said Levon. And Renee. Thanks for the star, Renee. I appreciate you sending star. You know, and my baby Denise. Mwah. Love it. Denise, make sure you come to the reunion, okay? You definitely need to be there. And Wanda Washington said, "I know it was good. I will watch it later. Sharon, I still want a pocketbook." Okay.
Wanda crazy.
She still want a
And
pocketbook.
she's still being a nuisance to me.
Phyllis Benton
That's my
said,
baby.
"Hey, Sharon and Tracy." Renee Bauer said, "Really appreciate both of you. Thanks for the star, Renee." I'm going to shout this out before we go off. Angie is saying this was awesome.
Okay.
You know, Marie Lovelet is on. Teresa Grassi said, "Tracy and Sharon, just keep letting God use y'all." Thank you. And April said, "Love you, ladies."
Love you more,
You know,
baby.
all right, y'all. I appreciate it. I love everybody. I appreciate everybody for being on. Y'all, don't forget, if each of y'all share this, it will go a long way. So once we get off this live, please share it. Just hit the share button, y'all, and share it. And just to let everybody know that if you want to catch up on Tracy Allen, Living in My Truth from the beginning, just go on YouTube. There's about 53 episodes on there right now. You know, starting from the beginning. You know, I'm trying to live it up and give it up until, you know, this reunion that we're going to have. You know, let your peoples know and your families know. Get a ticket, come out and celebrate and watch you guys be honored. You know what I mean? Because this is a big thing. It's not a little thing. It's a big thing. Okay, so with me, serenity prayer, God grants me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. See, that prayer goes for whomever is in recovery, no matter how you recover. You follow what I'm saying? So we'll see y'all next Wednesday. Got another great guest. Appreciate you.
Thank you.